Yes.
Yes. All right. So, any communications for our regular meeting?
I did those already.
Okay, nothing additional there. Fire department.
I have lots of stuff. We ended the year at 481 calls, but 326 of those being EMS calls. 155 of them were fire-related calls. The engine is out right now, getting its final regular service work done to replace the valves that were failed.
They got all the parts in?
Yes, finally.
Which vehicle was that?
Who's that?
What vehicle did you say?
The engine.
The engine?
You have such a soft voice,
I know.
it's so hard to
I need
hear.
a megaphone now. We are discussing the 7%, I guess that's in the SOGs as well. I did 7% just for December, and we only have 5 members of the department that quote unquote meet that little bar there. So as we move forward, I'm gonna do this monthly, and then also on a quarterly basis, I think we need to review this, but the SOGs say annually. So, according to my little math, it's responding to about 33, 34 calls a year, which is really not that much to ask for. So we're going to evaluate that as we keep moving forward with the objectives that we're trying to complete. We're working on setting up an EMR class. If any of the trustees want to take it, you're more than welcome to, but we're hopefully going to have a full vote in that with the neighboring departments, sending people to that as well. We're hoping to get the class off the ground in February, but we're not 100% sure yet.
Getting the word out there already? I mean,
Yes.
you let other departments know?
It's out there.
Okay.
Chief and I was discussing, and same thing, like if you guys want to have maybe your second meeting, what do we have to do to have like a work session with the trustees so that we can maybe have our officers and you guys, this is what we're dealing with, this is how we want to move forward. Just
We have to advertise it as a meeting. We have to let the Record Courier know and advertise it on our billboard up there.
Okay.
Set a date and a time for it because the public would be allowed to come to that if they wanted to.
Would we need to do that if we were doing it during a regular session?
No.
Like if we
No,
used
because-
our second session for
Yeah, that's
that?
what I would.
Right, that would cover it.
Or in the past, we've done it an hour before our meetings, but that would have to be advertised as well, but we could entertain either one of those items.
Yep,
Is that something you guys want to do, or?
Sure.
Entertain, or you want to
Sure.
do it quarterly, monthly?
at least quarterly.
Okay.
Well, would you be available to come at noon on a Monday?
In this winter weather, probably, unless I'm at my real job, but in the springtime is a little sketchy. So, but yeah, we can figure something out,
Okay,
so,
I think that would be good, there's a lot of things to cover.
absolutely there is. Has anybody heard any scuttle on this radio tower they're supposedly voting?
I have not.
Because we keep hearing the
Oh.
tower that's getting built.
We have a Portage County Commissioner in our audience tonight. Can we address that question to her? Our Mark's radio towers that were supposed to be built in Deerfield. We're under the understanding they were already supposed to be under construction a while back, and we've heard nothing about them for quite a long time. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just didn't know if you were aware of where we're at with that.
Yeah, there should be, excuse me, the funding's there, it's been appropriated, and it's just a tiny thing, but it's my understanding there's 3 towers being built. One's here, one is out in Garrettsville, I think it's school, and there's one out in Suffield.
Right.
And they are supposed to be starting construction on those soon.
So it is going to move forward.
But I can get back to you and give you more details, once I talk to our internal services to see when, they will actually start constructing. Because of the weather now and stuff, it may not be until spring, maybe like March, but I'll get an answer for the 3 of you.
Thank you.
That help?
Absolutely.
Thank you for the update.
Absolutely. You guys have started reviewing the paperwork, I would assume, from the building company, yes? That was
Yes.
handed last month. I unfortunately have 3 resignations from people, from Cody Clark, and Dale Nelson, and Lindsay Wanger.
Do they have reasons why they're?
I'm not stating that to you.
All right.
That's up to you guys.
Fair enough.
Disclose that.
Well, I'll make a motion, we accept those 3 resignations.
This is 2 resignations
Yes,
in
they-
one?
They're boyfriend and girlfriend, so they live together.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought about that, but both their names are on there, and
Yeah.
that's different.
it is.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we accept,
Wait a second.
oh, he already,
Yeah, he made it.
I got
Second it?
confused by the 2 resignations.
Second
Yes,
it.
I'll second it, that's
And
fine.
yes,
Roll call. Laura, sorry, Tiffany.
Yes,
Ed,
Yes,
Laura.
yes.
takes a minute to
Yeah.
change the
Concentrated.
routine.
All right, I also have an application for a new member, which, if approved, she'll have to do the background check and the physical. And she does state that she will take the EMR class if we move forward with her. And she's sitting back there in the audience. Her name is Lindberg. I'll pass that along to you.
Firefighter and EMR.
She will start with EMS first.
EMS, okay.
Not to put you on the spot, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Angel. My fiance is actually on the department already.
This guy you're sitting next to?
Yes, Jason. Yeah. I have actually worked in the healthcare field for 23 years as an STNA. I am already CPR and AED certified. So,
Do you have some time to give us on the department?
yes.
Yeah.
I will make a motion, we accept her to our department, providing she passes the background check and whatever else is required prior to that.
Sounds good.
And thank you.
I will second.
Yes.
Roll call. Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed,
Yes,
Laura.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We are moving along with the Safer Grant. We got some printout gear ordered. We're working on ordering the projector, the laptop, and we're getting quotes for the electronic sign or whatever, the digital sign, whatever the technical wording is for that. So we're moving along. I've made up a sheet too for you guys, and I do have a couple typos on there, but just overlook them. It's just going over, just so everybody understands the typical quote-unquote maintenance of the apparatus and the equipment that we carry in these trucks and these on a yearly basis. So I might have forgotten something throughout there, but just as we move forward throughout the months when we're asking for, ladder testing or pump testing, or whatever it is like that, you guys will have a little better understanding of what we're into. So, but other than that, do I need to request that we go into executive session to discuss employee matters?
yeah, let's hold off 1 second. We have one more resignation for the fire department too, don't we?
We do. I did receive an email resignation today from Scott Simmons, and I'll read it. It says, Deerfield Board of Trustees, I hereby resign my position from the Deerfield Fire Department roster as of today, January 8th, 2024. Scott Simmons.
Move to accept.
Second.
Yes.
Roll call. Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
I emailed this to you. Do you need a copy?
No.
Okay, I know you're going to ask going into executive session, and I don't know, you're the new chairperson. In the past, after the fire department, any guests we've had to speak in the audience, which I see a couple here, I'm assuming want to speak.
Yeah.
We've always let them speak after the fire department, so they have their commitments they can go to. What would you think about letting any of these ones that want to speak,
Absolutely.
before we get into executive session, so they don't have to just sit here in case they've got other commitments?
Anyone in the audience care to speak today? Any visitors that'd like to share?
Front and
Gail?
center.
Why do you need to come up there?
Yeah, you can come up here so everybody can hear you. Talk loud, please.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I have had the opportunity to meet most of you, so trustees and chiefs and everything. It's a pleasure to be here, and also friends and neighbors in the Deerfield community. I'm State Representative Gail Pavliga. I've had the opportunity to be here, then not here, and then back. So with redistricting, a lot of you, we get sometimes changed around every few years. So when I was first elected in 2020, I had the honor of representing the area, and then we were redistricting in 2022, and now we're redistricted again in the 2024 race. So I will be back here, and hopefully that map will be good until 2030, and we will no longer do that. But I have just really been excited to get this area back again, and it's always been a part that I felt was very close to my home. I hail from the Randolph area, so I'm down this way quite a bit, and enjoy all the great things that you do out here in Deerfield. I'm looking forward to working with Tiffany, Laura, and Ed, and the chiefs to see what we can do legislatively to be able to move any legislation forward, to be able to also, work on funding capital budgets or anything else that we would see fit to be able to work on in the community. I know there's been some concerns about EMS calls and things that we've already been in touch with. We'll continue those conversations. But again, I look forward to working with all of you. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Also, if any of you ever have any idea you'd like to meet with the state representative, I would welcome the opportunity to work with any one of you on some ideas for public policy and legislation, and always welcome those phone calls. I do represent most of the Portage County area, District 72, and I will be moving into my third term. Just a few of, don't be quiet, but just a few of the things that I've been able to accomplish. Mental health has been a big priority for me. I'm a psychologist by profession. We were able to secure $2.5 million to be able to expand a stabilization unit out with the by the Robinson Hospital with the Coleman Center. We've brought in multi-million dollars for to expand and start a dental school with Videomic. Also just a lot of local things, being able to work with the historical societies and bringing a lot of levels of funding. So I've been able to bring millions and millions of dollars back in investment here, and also with mental health and economic development and higher education initiatives. So those are things that have been high on my priority. And I also passed an affordable housing bill to about $400 million so we can work on workforce and affordable housing here throughout the state. So those are some of the things that I'm proud of as far as my legislative achievements. But most importantly, I love to be down there representing all of you. I look forward to working with all the leaders here on what we can do, again, that I can be of help to Deerfield, and that you have a representative that cares, that is present, and you will see me often. All right? Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Can I put you on the spot a little bit?
Of course.
At the last meeting, one of our fire members and the chief brought up a subject that's a tough subject, and it's ambulance service, how we get people to drive and everything. I know you met with the chief after the meeting. Could you just tell everyone what you're looking to do, if you can do it, to help us out in that situation?
Well, the statement of problem that was brought to me by the chief and by Ed was when there's a call that is made for response, there needs to be a EMT, minimum of 2 people, both with at least EMT, one to be able to drive and one to be able to be with the patient. Because this is mostly a volunteer fire department, it's very difficult not only to get one person to be able to be the EMT and to be able to provide the care during the transport, but the second person was also required to have those same certifications. So we are looking potentially to be able to change the Ohio Revised Code to be able to look at somebody who might be a highly trained designated driver with a different title that we have yet to work out what we are going to call that, like fire trained driver, but we will have to very accurately be able to identify that term, define what we mean by it, and then I will be working with my policy team, having interested party meetings to be able to see who would want to weigh in, to see who would be a proponent of a change such as this, and who would be opponents of it. Because Deerfield is located here, it's always my priority to work within my district, but never thinking that this is also not an issue, not only across our county, but also across the state. So then that way I can get some of my colleagues in Columbus to also weigh in on that, and also to support a bill such as that. So that's how the policy begins. We begin with ideas. We take ideas, we start to research them, work with our legal staff, and then introduce bills, have interested party meetings, and then they have to work through the committee process. So that is sometimes not a fast process, but it is one that is always worthwhile. Yes, sir.
Do you remember when the Ohio Vice Code was switched from years ago to the code we're using right now?
Not exactly sure of the date of that. I could research that for you and get back to it, but, you know, right now we just have the current revised code, and that's what we constantly are looking to change and to revise and that's what we are all required to operate by. Other questions that I might ask, or that I might be able to answer for you?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and
It's a
speaking.
pleasure. Look forward to working again with all of you. You know how to, hopefully you have my numbers. Good to see everyone. All right, thank you again for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm your Portage County Commissioner, Sabrina Christian Bennett. I have been serving you for 9 years. I was appointed for a year, and now I'm completing the second of my full term, so a total of 9 years. I love my job. I love being the big cheerleader and supporter for all the communities. Some of the things that we are doing as commissioners, we've taken a lot of the ARPA funds that will have impacts on you. You heard them talk about the Marks Towers. That improves the communications, especially for the Sheriff's Department that gets out here, drops a call, can't get calls through to or from. We're also expanding broadband for areas. I know during COVID it was an issue out here that folks did not have access to internet, and they were coming to the town hall to have their kids do their homework to attach to the Wi-Fi. And you know what, in this day and age, it's just not acceptable. So we did choose to focus on that. We also chose to take $1 million of our ARPA funds and support the food pantries, because we all know times are tough with the inflation and the cost of groceries, the cost of utilities and everything going up. You know, now is the time that we need to make sure the constituents that we represent are taken care of. I also serve on the State Board of County Commissioners, and one of the things that we are always advocating for, and Gail, listen up to this, is to bring back the local government funds. You know, it's great that they increased it by a small margin, but we want our money back, and that's because we know what best to do with it in our communities. And yeah, there's tons of grants out there, but grants are not guaranteed, and it's very hard to budget with grants. We have just recently at the county, because we are the official authorizer for all grants and funds that come through the county, no matter which elected official it is. We had a grant in our probation department that we had received 2 years in a row without any questions. This year, denied. So we want more, we want our money back, right? We heard it's in the rainy day fund. Well, it's way been raining here. We hear now they've got astronomical amounts in that rainy day fund, and it's time to bring it back to the people. It's our money. We know best what to do with it. And so I'm just a big advocate down at the state for that. Another thing, I work with Pavliga, State Rep Pavliga, is we're working on some affordable housing issues here in Portage County. Again, that goes with the state of the economy as well as the inflation and everything else that we're seeing. And when we say affordable housing, we don't mean low to moderate income. Affordable housing is for working poor people, people that are working a job and a half, have 2 sources of income, and still cannot afford housing in today's market. So that's one of the things that you will be seeing me and State Rep Pavliga and a couple of our other collaborative partners working on, as well as housing for folks with mental health issues and addictive issues. I'm also a big fan, I love workforce. I serve on the NOTCOG board, which is the Area 19 workforce board, and we're always looking about improving programming and funding training for kids in high school, and now we're looking to go not only to high school, junior high, but now we're looking at 5th and 6th graders to start grooming kids on what they want to be, or, you know, something that they can do maybe while they're in school to get them to their college degree. But college isn't for everyone, and I think we all realize that. And then my last thing that I love working on is economic development. I'm actually the vice chair of the Portage County Development Board in the county that does all the economic development abroad. They work with, if you're in a city, they actually have an economic development person or director.
But if you're out like in the townships and stuff that don't have the means for it, we have the Portage Economic Development Board ran by Mr. Brad Earhart. I was one of the original members to that board, and like I said, I proudly serve as the vice chair of that board, and we're always looking to help communities, get resources to them, education to you, anything that we can do to bring it right back here at home. So with that, I promise I won't chat because I'm a typical politician. I love to yap, but I can just tell you, I truly love my job. I'm very genuine about my job. You'll see me everywhere. I've been out here to the apple butter festivals. I've been out here for trick or treat. I've been to trustee meetings. But like I said, my door is always open. I have some cards. On my cards, I'm very accessible. I have my cell phone, my home phone, and my office direct line. So if anyone would like to have one, even just for reference, or if you can think of some questions you want to ask me after tonight's meeting, because I don't want to take up any more of your time, I have them and I'll pass them out. All right? Thank you for allowing me to speak. And I'm going to
Thank you.
guys all a new card. Thank you. Hi, Mr. Ed. Miss Laura. Nice to meet you. Appreciate it. Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Elaine Cross. I know some of you. I am actually running for U.S. House of Representatives. And I'm not going to stand up here and give you a big speech. Is anybody here really thrilled with how Washington is working? No. Not a hand in the room. Okay, that kind of answers it. There are a few strong voices in D.C. We need more strong voices in D.C. I am a strong voice. I have worked in politics with the local party and different things, but mostly I'm just a mom, I'm a patriot, and I love our Constitution, and our Constitution is just being ramroded into some small corner that we don't even hardly recognize it. We've heard some talk about sending the money back to the people. Frankly, the federal government is so bloated, it doesn't know how to function right. The Department of Education, gotta go. There's lots of departments that just have to go. And if we defund them and send the money back here, yeah, people like Representative Pavlico's gonna have a lot of work to do, because if they don't take the money out of your pocket, take it up to DC, filter off 20, 30%, and then decide how much Ohio gets back, and then they distribute it, they're gonna have to figure out how to fund the schools without that. So it will actually mean more money in the end, but it's gonna be painful. But liberty, as we all know, is not clean, right? Liberty is messy. You want to do the things you want to do your way. She wants to do things her way. He wants to do things his way. And that's America, baby, and we need to get back to that. So I'm Elaine Cross. I'm running against Dave Joyce for the 14th District to the U.S. House. I appreciate your vote. Several of you got papers from me. If any of you need one, see me when they go into executive session.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you, everyone, for coming down. It's nice to see people.
All right, so we will go into executive session for ORC 12122 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. Did I say enough? All right. So
That is your motion.
that's my motion that we go into executive session on those terms.
I will second that motion.
Yeah, it was only, what, a half hour?
Don't know. Good to see you.
All right, for the executive session, I'd like to ask our chief to come in, our assistant chief.
And we need a roll call, yes?
Yeah, sorry, yes, sorry. Roll call, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to ask our fiscal officer, Kristy, to come in, and Anthony Popio, would you join us in there? And we'll be back.
Hopefully not, but I don't know.
It should be short and sweet. You got yours right there, down.
All right, everybody ready?
It's nice and good. Okay.
Sure.
Are you ready? Were we an hour?
No. Close?
So I will make a motion that we exit executive session.
I second it.
Yes?
Roll call Tiffany.
Yes?
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
And I will make a motion that we return to our regular session.
Second?
Yes.
Roll call Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Just an FYI, you can do that in one motion.
I like to fancy it up and do it twice. Thank you. All right. So in our executive session, we did review a personnel issue that was investigated in-house. A corrective action has been taken, and the matter has been resolved. Moving forward. Anything else with the fire department?
We're waiting for the radio to be installed in that ambulance, the new ambulance, so we can start stopping and get on the road. That's pretty much it.
Is there a tentative date for them to be installed, or what's the holdup?
We're waiting on a phone call back from that radio.
All right.
So hopefully we can get the ball rolling on that.
Okay.
I had a question about the boat prop. Did we ever come up with a
We
solution?
talked about that the other day. I thought Mark was donating one. Is that correct?
Well, I thought we were supposed to be purchasing one, and we were gonna get quotes. That's the last I'd heard about it, so I was just waiting for an update.
Mark said he was going to donate it.
I never heard the word donate,
He told me that it was donated, he wasn't charging, so.
I
so.
remember you said that. You said
But you guys haven't received it?
I don't think we have.
Okay. That's all I know.
So we were discussing that a few days ago.
So if you need anything, please let us know for that, so we can get that squared away.
Absolutely.
I have
If he
one-
can't get it or isn't willing to get it now, we need to get one order so that we do have it.
Absolutely.
I would say that. It's a $200.
Well, do we wanna just vote on that now?
I think maybe if we reach out to him and he says no, then maybe we should.
Well, I'll make a motion that we purchase a new boat prop if we can't get one donated, and get that installed. Can we do that in-house?
I think so.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we do that.
I'll second that.
What's your thoughts of getting a second one? Because it sounds like, just talking with the Berlin chief, I'm not big on boat stuff, but, if somebody whacks the sandbar with those loads the lake has been.
Then we have to have something right away to replace it with.
we can-
Is the one that we have now usable enough to
I
use as
believe
a
it is.
backup?
I hope so, but the last rescue we had, the boat was vibrating when we were up. Remember that? It was bad. So if it maybe can't be salvaged or whatever, maybe we should get the second one.
Why don't we get the first one now, and then we can make
Yeah,
a motion for the second one?
revisit it.
Revisit that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Roll call Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura. Yes. And I have one more thing on the fire department. We received notice that we received a 2024 Marks grant from the Ohio Department of Commerce Division of State Fire Marshal. The total grant award will be the total amount of $720, of which $0 shall be allocated for equipment, and $720 is for the radio monthly subscription fees. That's it.
Unfortunately, we didn't strike big with it. Absolutely.
Good job, Dave.
Is there any questions before we head down to the station?
I don't have anything.
All right. we'll go to the fire station. Thank you,
Road,
guys.
thank you. Road Department Buildings and Grounds, Cemetery. Any updates there? Road Department?
At the last meeting, I asked to purchase an aluminum flatbed for the truck that the fire department donated. I asked for the amount of $3,855. It's a special order bid. When I went to order that after the first year, the price of that has gone up to $3,926, so $75, $80 difference. So I would ask that we still purchase the bed at the same place for the 2024 price, so.
I'll second.
Yes.
Roll call Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Lauren.
Yes.
All right, cemeteries, a lot of funerals. Gary had a funeral Friday, and they dug the grave Thursday because it was going to be early Saturday morning. What a mess. It kept caving in, kept filling up with water, and they spent a lot of time down there, down first thing in the morning cleaning it out, and had to wait till 9:30 for them to get there, so they left and went back down again, and there was more water in it. We had to get scooped out, so it turned out to be a nightmare. And then Saturday, we already talked about that. There was a cremation that we thought was going to be a cremation. Turned out being, 20, 25 cars there for that we didn't expect. They wanted to use the chapel, which we weren't planning on. Gary did get the chapel open. He didn't have his keys with him. They did use it. Unfortunately, a couple of people saw the need to pull off of our driveway and park in our yard. Well, when they parked in the yard, they sunk. So now we've got ruts to fix and take care of and everything. And why this time of year anyone would pull off of a perfectly good driveway into the mud is beyond me. But that's just what we're dealing with in this situation and everything. He was down there today. We got to put topsoil in some of them, seed them, all kinds of stuff. It's why someone would do that, I don't know. It's just
Ballpark all over again.
yep.
We're running out of stones.
Name more stones.
Buildings and grounds. There was a discrepancy about the ceiling in the old town hall. I personally haven't heard anything about where we're at in that. Is that gentleman planning on coming back and doing the tongue and groove like we agreed on, so we can pay him, or where are we at in that situation?
I have an update here. This is a spreadsheet for his expenses, along with the original quote of what the expenses would cost. I've got one for Laura as well. Well, this is Laura's, but it doesn't matter, they're all the same. So when we originally got those quotes, there was a discounted tongue and groove ceiling. And just like when you get a quote for a truck, we got a quote for that, and it was months ahead of time from when we actually did the job, so it was no longer available. Instead of continuing with that and upping the price, we opted to go with an alternative, which is all spelled out in this cost of what it costs to do that. The gentleman ended up making, I want to say about $2,000 profit over a job he worked on for 2 weeks. I want to make a motion that we pay the $11,800 to pay the gentleman for the work that was done.
I will object to that motion simply because you made the original motion to install a tongue and groove ceiling in the old town hall. I agreed to that for the fact that that would have been a good fix in there, because now we're going to go and hire somebody or get somebody to jack up that building. The tongue and groove would have moved and would not have caused any problem. The drywall's going to crack.
Which is
Now
why we put the beams in to allow for allowances for them to move.
And then we're going to be paying someone to fix the ceiling. Again, we agreed at a public meeting for a tongue and groove ceiling. We did not agree at a meeting before someone told this man he could just go ahead and drywall it. We did not agree to that. We priced the drywall, that should be about $6,000, and we're going to pay this man $13,800, $200,
And if
whatever.
anyone would like to see a printout of the expenses of where we came up with those numbers.
However, he agreed to a tongue and groove ceiling and not drywall. Did he not?
That was what we originally discussed.
He told me at the meeting, when he came in, we were to sign the checks, I said, you would have about $4,000 in buying that material. He told me I didn't know what I was talking about. He said, if I buy that tongue and groove, I'll have $9,000.
Which is why I asked them for a completely itemized account.
As far as I'm concerned, we deduct $9,000 off the $13,800 and paid him in for the drywall ceiling.
Well,
I mean, he agreed to tongue and groove, he didn't do it.
And just like when things are available and we wait for months to hire someone at the last minute, sometimes those materials are not available and we have to make changes to the plan. The ceiling
However,
got done,
materials are
the
readily
lighting,
available.
the light, not at that price. and that lighting got done, and everything was paid for with the NOPEC grant. I'm gonna make a motion that we pay the man his original price of $11,800.
We had a price from somebody else to do that
And they
exact
didn't
job.
show up.
And they didn't show up for about $6,000.
And there's
They,
reason for
they
it.
didn't show up.
But that was a $6,000 job. It's like paying for hardwood floor and getting linoleum.
I'd be happy to share the
I
expenses
tried,
with
even
you.
one piece of paper doesn't mean anything. But
Well,
we
that's
had
right.
a price for somebody's putting an extra $6,000 in their pocket on this deal.
Is the only reason we didn't get tongue and groove is because he couldn't get tongue and groove, or because the price was different?
Because the price was different.
Then we probably should have gotten an adjusted quote then, instead of just,
And we were on a timeline because of the NOPEC grant money expiring.
well, I know the timeline was in place, correct?
Those materials can be sourced from many places. I mean, it's
I
not
mean,
like
we're in an area
it's
where
hard to
there's
get.
an awful lot of places that provide wood products.
I think somebody's giving us a snowball, really.
I
And even
disagree.
if they were a little more money, I'm sure that probably would have been something preferred over the drywall.
I never would have agreed to $13,800 for a drywall ceiling.
It wasn't 13,000,
What was it?
11.
Okay. All right, 11.8. I never would have agreed to 11.8 for a drywall ceiling. He's got about $400 in drywall and the lights and stuff. You guys make the motion, do what you want to do. This is actually, as far as I'm concerned, a bait and switch situation. I agreed to something at a public meeting. Someone agreed to change that, not at a public meeting, and
And you and I spoke about it, but we have different recollections of the conversation.
Yep, you said now he's gonna have to go to West Virginia to get his tongue and groove because we waited so long, and I pretty much said, so
We
the
said our recollections of that
What is-
conversation.
bottom line is, the
What
man
is
did not buy tongue and groove,
for
and
for
that's
tongue
what we
and groove?
paid for. That's what my second was, tongue and groove.
Also, not to mention that he also added paint, and the whole place is painted, the cracks
Again,
are
we didn't agree to
repaired.
that at a meeting, though. I mean,
No, he did that out of the
He
kindness
did
of his
that
heart.
Out of the kindness of his heart.
again, that's only my opinion. To
It's
me,
still
that it's
labor and cost
not
of
right that
things.
we do this.
Is
Not
this
right
somebody
in
you guys know?
Any way, shape, or form.
A friend?
Not a friend, someone I've hired for other jobs in the past and had a good rapport with. So, no personal relationship. So,
I will just, while we're talking about this, I will mention to our fiscal officer that there is a discrepancy in this, and I would ask her not to authorize a check to pay this until this gets through the legal process, which, if you guys agree to this, I'm going to contact attorney to whoever I have to about this. This is not acceptable. I'm going to have to mention to the fiscal officer that there is a discrepancy in this bill. She is responsible for the money. If it would come back a finding against the township, then she would also be involved in this for paying a bill that should not have been paid. That's my statement.
There's no price on there for the wood. That's just itemized for looking at.
If this man would come back to us and say, hey, I agree, I didn't buy the tongue and groove, I did agree to do it, can we knock off $4,000, $5,000? I'd be more than willing to work with him on that. I'm not willing to work with him on paying for a drywall ceiling when it was supposed to be wood tongue and groove. I can't do that. It's not right.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And it's
The
still
difference
gonna-
between drywall and tongue and groove is a lot of money.
And we still have the issue, it's gonna crack when the building gets moved too. It's gonna need adjustable.
anything we did could have been damaged when we moved the building, correct?
Well, that's the tongue and groove will flex and it won't crack.
And this has boards and allowances to allow for that, so.
Only on the linear, not the other way.
So, well, I'm still making the motion to pay the bill.
Will this gentleman come back
Yeah.
and discuss this bill?
Oh, I'm sure he will. He was here at the last meeting afterwards, but he wasn't involved in the meeting, yeah.
Can we push this down to the next meeting?
If we wanted to have a meeting, a second meeting in January, yeah, we could do that.
Can we have him come back and introduce, just explain?
Well, I could ask him if he's available.
Yeah. I mean, he did a nice job.
It looks beautiful.
It's beautiful in there.
but it's not what was agreed on in the public meeting. It is not tongue and groove for $12,000. It is a drywall ceiling. We did not agree on a drywall ceiling. That's just the bottom line. That's a bait and switch any way you look at it. The man agreed to something and did something else and wants full pay. I can't do that. If he willing to knock off $4,000 or $5,000 for the material that he admits he didn't buy, I'll revisit that and pay the man. But it's you guys' motion, but I will not agree to this in any way, shape, or form.
Can we ask the gentleman to come back?
I can ask him to come back.
Okay. I make a motion that we readdress this at the next meeting.
So, but Tiffany has a motion on the floor. We have to rescind that motion or act on that or something before you make another motion, I think.
Okay.
Now, I'm just saying, there's a motion on the floor, which I will not second.
I'll abstain.
Well, then the motion dies.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed?
What are you asking? What's the? What are you asking for a yes
The
or no?
motion
on?
didn't get a second.
Yeah, to die for lack of no second.
Okay, I agree, it died for lack of a second, yes.
Yes.
Well, it'd be,
You
No.
abstained, right?
okay, no,
I abstain.
it was to pay, you're no, and she's abstaining.
Right.
I'll give him a call and see if he's available to come. And I think we should make a motion to have a second meeting in January.
Yes.
At the second, or the fourth Monday at noon.
What's the date?
I'll second that.
What's the date of that?
I believe it's the 22nd.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
All right, any other new business, or any other things for the road department, grounds, or cemeteries?
You got anything else?
Yes, today when we were out clearing ditches, we're starting to get a few potholes to show up. We'd like to get a few bags of the coal patch.
Where do we get them?
Lowe's.
Expensive but necessary, we have to have them, so.
Yep, we can buy it by a truckload, but we've got no place to keep it heated, so it goes bad. If we get the bags, we can use them as needed. I think 20 bags will get us through for quite a while. It'll be about $360.
It's not gonna be over $500, is it?
No.
So, we're good for road patch material without the motion, right?
It's under $500, yeah, use the Lowe's account.
While we're in buildings and grounds and road department stuff, we have a storm go through in April, put a big rip in our salt shed down there. I've been working with the insurance company. The insurance adjuster has agreed to pay for a temporary fix, which was a tarp that Gary purchased. We reimbursed Gary for that tarp that's on there. We're working with 2 different builders to get that done. Finalize that with the insurance company and one of the 2 builders in the next week or so. The way it looks, our insurance will cover the entire amount. We still have some final dollars to get. But on that line, we had a lot of salt in there. The salt got wet, clumped up, hard as a rock. We tried with our backhoe and our excavator to break it up, crush it so it was usable salt. None of our equipment's big enough and heavy enough. Zach Ranta actually brought a big front end loader down, spent several hours here that day, dug it all out of there, ran over it, put the blade down, crushed it and everything. So I just think that he deserves a thank you for doing that. We did reimburse him for fuel. We filled up his machine before he came here, so we went and filled up his machine when he left, 20-gallon of fuel or whatever. So I'd like to thank you for doing that. You saved us a lot of money in that salt. It was unusable as it was, and now it's 99.5% usable.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
I can help.
And he's done other work when we've run into something, he's always stepped up. So again, I appreciate you doing that for us, Zach. That's all I have.
All right, any other new business?
Can we go back to the town hall for just a second? So this is not a dead horse yet. The Historical Society is looking at the possibility of moving back in there. I'm gonna guess that we need to stall that for now. Any future movements towards doing that? I mean, in the event that possibly we're gonna do some more work on that ceiling until we...
They ordered the propane,
Well, I know they did.
so we can get the furnace fired up.
Right. Which I noticed that he added costs in there for heating it so that they could work in it because some big bold letters that said no heat, which he knew when he did the quote. But, I mean,
They wouldn't have to turn the furnace on and burn that propane if we wanted to
Right.
delay it. I
Right.
mean, they could get it in, get the furnace going, so
my
they're done,
concern
and just
is
not run
moving
the
stuff
furnace so
and
they're
having
not
to move
burning.
back out again. You know what a process that was.
And when he did the quote, we didn't need heat because it wasn't cold yet.
What's that?
When he made the quote, we
Mhm.
didn't need heat because it wasn't cold yet.
Well,
So that
yeah,
was an additional
true.
expense.
But he knew he wasn't going to get to it right away, and it's Ohio, so he knew it was going to get cold. But anyhow, the question is, basically that's on hold for a little bit.
Well, we'll have another meeting in 2 weeks. Hopefully, we can come up with a resolution.
Right.
So what's the holdup with this whole ordeal with getting materials and the extra costs of heating the building? What was the holdup? Was it no pack or was it?
It was that we hired someone else who didn't show up,
Okay.
and he was
I didn't
hired
know
at the
what
very last minute.
Okay, I didn't know what the holdup was, why.
The money had to be spent, Zach, by November 30th.
Okay.
It's a use it or lose it.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just didn't know why,
Yep.
you know, why everything was held up.
And nobody else showed up to do
Yeah.
it.
Anything else? So I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting and pay our bills.
I'll second that. Oh.
Yep, you will. Yes.
They want out of here too.
Yes.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
everyone for coming. Yes,
Okay.
It needs to be leveled up.
Where do I, there's
So they're not.
anyone in New Jersey, sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
Because you know that money in the LED like that. Somebody looking all they find, check it together.
Not for that part yet, no.
Just had had.
And I just said, I gotta make up my end, I guess.
Most of our meetings are past this
It's too long, it's too time.
But it was $6,000, he was gonna do that this way and on the joints, and then turn into